Good morning. This video is an introduction to the paper Economy Kerala. You can access this paper by opening this video, which is given to you here in maybe in YouTube. You might get this as a WhatsApp message or something in Facebook. If you open this video in YouTube, you will get the link to the paper. So this video is basically a door to that paper. What lies ahead in reading, or what is actually dealt with in that paper. It's an analysis of a socially superior society that has invested in almost everything from education and health to almost everything that makes sure that there is an egalitarian society prevailing, and there is an access to health, wealth, and peace, and of course the integrity. So an individual with access to basic resources, with access to law, with access to legal remedies, as an individual with integrity, and such an individual has been given a space to educate, to work, to earn. So this independent individual with integrity is a term that can be associated with a society, an economy as a whole. Because in an independent society is something or someone or a society that takes care of its citizens' needs without damaging the exchequer. So, in that sense, a socially superior Kerala that makes sure that health and education is accessible to each and everyone in the society has been largely a consumer state throughout its modern history. Modern history in the sense post 1956. So, in that sense, here we start the debate with what all these assets that is available in Kerala, available for or with Kerala, and some of these assets are actually a dream for some of the most impoverished societies, because what Kerala has with the balanced climate, with a geography, although tiny, it's a geography, and the powerful elementary education system. Of course, we have to, there is no adaptation happening in the field of education still. That's an asset. From climate to education to a society that is progressive with no hero worship is a big asset. And still, and these climates, these crops, and everything that is available in Kerala, we still remain a consumer state. So that is where the debate starts. The debate starts with the assets that Kerala have, tangible, intangible assets, and how, despite all these assets, we remain a consumer state. So that is where the debate starts. So that is where we need to stress, because an independent society is a notion that is now evolving post globalization, opening of all borders, or what say the delete, or what say almost all the barriers have been thrown away, and with these notions like purchasing power parity, balance of payments in economics, we almost all the societies have come to terms with the reality that we have to concentrate on something that we have, and everything else we have to, we could buy, we need to buy, because we don't have to invest each of our time resources into almost everything, but rather concentrate on a very few things and buy the rest. And post globalization, with developments in technology and air traffic, all these things, an independent the concept of making everything inside is almost a non-existent theory. But post this corona, when wars, epidemics, and concentration of the most the most needed thing like oil in the hands of a few, all these things are creating a panic in every society, and it makes sure that you can see that from the shortage of chips and semiconductors to almost all things. All these things are making a very fluid situation in every economy, especially in a third world countries like in India, who are dependent on all these things, all these small things to big things. The thoughts and the science of survival is now getting confined to independence. This independence means self-sufficiency, and this self-sufficiency is possible for a resource-rich society. And Kerala is a resource-rich society in all aspects, because there are many things that we can't have. We don't have, actually. We don't have and we can't have. Those things we could make, we could purchase. But there are things that we have, from jackfruits and khadis to human resource to the Gulf returnees. We have things and assets who can make us an export surplus society, which is not happening here. So this paper basically deals with the assets that Kerala has and how underutilized these assets are, and how much is and how urgent it is to revive all these things that we have, to make sure that we remain an independent, self-sufficient society. It doesn't still mean that we have to export everything and we don't have to import anything. But there are resources, there are possibilities that lie unutilized or underutilized. Because economics is basically a social science. It is a science that deals with possibilities through the statistics, through analysis, and all these things. And it is a social science. It is a social thing because it actually deals with the day-to-day life of ordinary citizen. From a rise, if a rise in petrol can trigger panic, can create inflation. So these things are not a technical thing. We know these things. So if you know these things, you have to make sure that you utilize what you have. So this paper is basically a call to make sure that Kerala uses its resources, its available resources, its unused assets to the maximum. Because self-sufficiency is the need of the hour. There is no compromise on that. Because how long and how far we can go by surviving on beverage outlets and lottery tickets. It's a stupid notion, and it's a very stupid notion because one of the most progressive society in the world, Kerala, has willingly swallows it, and they feel that yes, it is an asset, the lottery tickets and beverage outlets that feeds us. And it's an irony that people are willing to accept this notion, and we have to come out of these closed doors. There are possibilities, from a KSRTC remaining underutilized, from jackfruits and khadis, there is multiple possibilities, from the international institutions, companies that is placed here, providing jobs. There are possibilities because you can use all these this providing jobs in the sense that these multinational companies can be brought under a new tax structure, new work structure to make sure that people in the state are benefited. They can make profits and the society can make profits. All these are possibilities. All these possibilities are remaining idle and remaining underutilized. From e-waste, from mobile repairing segments, from the Gulf retainees who were replaced by these North Indian workers from Bengal mainly. All these should bring possibilities to you, to these economists, to the experts, because there is something that is lying idle, and there are some others who are occupying it. It's not that they are occupying, they are not looting it. There are possibilities which remain unutilized. It's time to use possibilities. It's time to say self-sufficient, self-reliant. 44 rivers, balanced climate, kadis, jackfruits, mangoes, an educated working class, and still we are waiting at the border for the fruits to come, for vegetables to come. And this has to change. And this paper basically deals with the possibilities that lies ahead. From tourism, from medicine, from Ayurveda to tribal medicines, from the fame that we have gained through our monumental handling of corona, the quality of our elementary education system. All these can be combined, from tourism, resorts, Ayurveda, yoga. All these are possibilities if scientifically, progressively, and with a good and with a very futuristic intention. You have to look at all these possibilities, and this paper is an analysis of possibilities that lies ahead, and resources and chances and scope that are left unutilized. You can access this blog by clicking this video in YouTube. So all these are not in a chronological order. I have placed it not in an order. It's actually, it starts with the assets of Kerala, and how economics deals with these assets. Economic deals with these possibilities and limitations, because economics is actually a match between the mismatch of wants and availability. It's possibly, and economics is possibly an analysis of this mismatch. And here we have to analyze this mismatch, why we remain a consumer state, still, despite having everything to become an exporting state, exporting economy. So that mismatch between what we have remaining unutilized and what we want is being imported is what analyzed in this paper. It's not an expert opinion. This has to be checked by experts who use statistics, who use analysis to come into a conclusion. So you can access this paper by clicking on the video in YouTube. It's as I said before, this is not an expert opinion. These are suggestions that learners of economics, experts of economics, has to analyze and come up with a solution to make sure that an independent, a self-sufficient society is coming out in the near future. We need to be independent, we need to be self-sufficient to meet the needs, because we can't go on buying and transfer debt to the future. We need to stand on our own legs. We need to make sure that jobs, education, industries are here, and people come here to learn. People come here to do business. That is what a hostile industrial atmosphere, hartas, all these things has to be analyzed to know why and how there is a big mismatch between what we have remaining unutilized and what we want is being constantly imported to retain a shameful tag of consumer state. So this is a study of, as told before, this is a study of possibilities, and these possibilities are analyzed here, and it is for you, the experts and students, to make sure that you go through it, not just to go through this block, to go through that a self-sufficient Kerala is sprouted from this debris left behind by a pandemic. This, because this pandemic has taught us a lot of things, and one of the main is the need to stay independent and self-sufficient. It's an open economy. Anything can happen anywhere, and one single incident anywhere on the globe can impact you, even a single individual, socially, economically. So by realizing that, we make sure that an independent economic society evolves. And Kerala, if its progress, if the social progress that it has achieved has to be matched with the success of an independent society, it needs to make sure that no single asset remain unutilized. Nothing is spared. Thanks a lot.